what if I told you can live completely free from stress, completely free from struggle, completely free from anxiety and depression and everything that comes with the mind and thinking? Sounds a bit too good to be true, right? Well, it is not. It is not. There are people that live in this state, and I've been, well, I wouldn't say working towards this, but I've made a lot of progress on this path where I have a way more quiet mind than before. A few years ago, I was struggling a lot with anxiety, with fear, with panic attacks, with constant fear in my mind where I couldn't even relax for 2 minutes on the couch. Couldn't even sit for 2 minutes on the couch. I was so busy in my mind. I was struggling so much. I went to multiple therapists. I went to do all kinds of things to get rid of this fear, and I found the key. Or the key found me. So what is this? First of all, let's say the fact that we are struggling with our mind all the time. So if you've identified this in yourself already, you're struggling with your mind almost 24/7. Sometimes even I used to wake up in my sleep so stressful, so anxious, so in the middle of the night, even stressful. So you're stressed, you're contracted, you're anxious, you're in your mind, you're hurried, you're all these different emotions, all these different feelings you are, but most of it is fearful. So you're in this state all the time, and your mind is busy trying, doing, figuring out, always doing something, always trying something, always becoming something, always busy with something, and that's pretty fucking annoying, to be honest, right? And if we see this, then we can say like, okay, we don't want to live like this. And then people go into the spiritual path of like, okay, we don't want to live with this busy mind. How do we get rid of it? And that's the first mistake. How do we get rid of it? And what does the mind do? The mind is going to try to get rid of it. The mind is going to do something to get rid of it. The mind is going to try to figure something out how to get rid of itself. And that's the biggest paradox again. And I've been caught in that for a year now, I would say. Super windy today, and it's a bit cold. Fucking hell. Sorry for the swearing. I got a comment last time that someone said, I didn't subscribe because you were swearing. I was like, well, that's one subscriber less. My bad. But, so... Can we live completely free from the mind? Yes. I've had a realization a few days ago, which is very powerful. And it was like, okay, let me take you in this story. I was sitting in my room and I was listening to Eckhart Tolle and a guided meditation. I was like, shit, why am I still not enlightened? I've been trying to get enlightened for a few years or 2 years now, or 1.5 years, I would say. And it doesn't work. And I still feel struggle and I still feel anxious sometimes. And what is going on, And listening to a meditation and trying to do some breath work and trying to do a meditation and trying to stretch and all these type of things I was doing in my room, but there was still so much struggle inside me. And I was like, what is going on? And then I relaxed on the bed and I was like, let me just relax into it. Let me just relax into life. Just boom. And I was like, I relaxed into life, and then the mind became quiet and I felt like I was back to myself again, where I was like, wow, of course it's a different movement, the movement of, let's say, coming to yourself again, coming to enlightenment, you could say, but it's just yourself basically, your true self. Is not a movement of doing, is not a movement of trying, is not a movement of effort, is not a movement of stress, is not a movement of finding, is not a movement of figuring out, it's not even an experience you can have in a perfect moment, it's none of that. That's all the mind. That's all the mind does all the time. It's the doing, it's the trying, but it's beyond mind. And what means beyond mind? It's a relaxation into it. And it's not trying to relax into it. Man, sometimes I get people on a call and I get comments of people, it's like, or I talk with people and it's like, I say, okay, you relax into life, or you feel this self-love, and it's like, I've been trying it but it doesn't work. But relaxing is not trying, because trying is doing. So you cannot try to relax. You can only let yourself relax. You can only allow yourself to relax. You can only allow yourself to fall into this and to let go of the mind. And letting go of the mind is not an effort. Letting go of the mind is the releasing of effort. And the releasing of effort is not something you can do. Okay, so it's super paradoxical, and I know you don't understand what I'm saying right now, because you cannot understand what I'm saying right now, and that's the whole point I'm trying to point towards. Like, we are talking about a state that is beyond mind, and beyond mind means it's not comprehensible, and it is a state that's a retreat into yourself, a relaxation, a letting go, a love, an allowing, a feeling, a non-effort, an effortless way, and this is where we this is where we belong. This is where we belong, and from this state we can live in more clarity. We can live in more love. We can, and the thing is with this is like. Okay, so I'm talking about this state, right? And maybe you've experienced it, or you've read about it, or you're living in it, or you see some spiritual teachers talking about this stuff. And it's like, okay, now you have in your mind, it's some sort of wonderful enlightenment experience I'm talking about. But like maybe it sounds discouraging, but it's not even like exotic, wonderful experience, because it is just the most normal state. It's literally yourself. And when you realize that you've been disconnected from yourself for so long, because you've been lost in your mind, lost in trying, lost in doing, because you've been disconnected from this, then you realize, like, okay, it is beautiful, and it is a beautiful life, because it's sufficient. You don't need anything anymore. It is enough. But it's not an extremely beautiful experience. It's not something we can seek towards, like, oh, it's such a beautiful experience, I need to get there because I need to have this beautiful experience. No, because it's just the most normal thing. It is just the silence of the mind. That's the only thing it is, basically. And but if we put it on a pedestal, like, oh, enlightenment, wow, that's so beautiful, then we put it even farther away from ourselves, and that's also not what we want to do. So I'm losing the point a little bit, but ranting on a little bit. But so there's no technique required. All the spiritual people, I hate to burst the bubble to you, your meditation every day for 2 hours is not gonna work. And it's not gonna help you progress towards this, because the whole idea that you need a practice and a meditation to progress towards enlightenment is the whole lie in itself. There's no progression on this path, because it's not a progress path forwards, it's a relaxing path inwards, and there's no effort required. So you can meditate if you enjoy meditating, you can breathwork if you enjoy breathwork, and if you have difficult emotions coming up, it can definitely be a tool, but you cannot expect to get somewhere with it. And so there's no trying required. And why is there no trying required? Follow this, because this is an interesting one. There's no trying required because it's beyond good or bad. There's no trying required because it's beyond good or bad, good and bad. So good or bad, doesn't matter. What do I mean with this? If you try something, it implies that you can either succeed or fail at something. I'm going to try to do a practice to get enlightened. Oh, and I can fail. Oh, today I didn't get enlightened, so I failed. Or I can succeed. But it's beyond this, because what is good and bad? Good and bad is only a judgment. Good and bad is only a perspective you have on reality. Oh, if something meets this requirement, it will be good. If something doesn't succeed, it will be bad. But being yourself in this enlightenment stage is beyond good and bad. Okay, and that's why it's so freeing, because it's beyond judgment of the mind. It's beyond good and bad. So you cannot succeed at it, let's say, because you cannot try and you cannot fail at it. The only reason we don't see it is because we are looking for it outwards. You know, we are looking for it outwards. Checking here. So what is the next step? We have to let go of control. And how do we let go of control without effort? By seeing that control itself is the effort, and it takes so much effort to keep trying to control reality. And if we really see control for what it is, it's a stressful condition. Control is a stressful condition that is struggle itself. The illusion of control is the biggest illusion there is, because there is no control. You don't have any control whatsoever. Okay, and this is a weird realization, and the ego doesn't wanna accept this as true. But there is no control. You don't have any control. And when I mean you don't have any control, I'm referring to you that is identified with your thoughts and your minds and is in a controlling state all the time. That doesn't have any control further than the illusion of control. So the illusion of control is what makes your ego feels like it has control, but it doesn't exist. That control doesn't exist. Life will pass as it passes, and this control mechanism is only a contraction and only a struggle what fights against reality, because reality unfolds. And if we think we have control over reality, we put ourselves separate from reality, which creates a gap, which creates a struggle, which creates expectations about how we want reality to be. And when reality is not like that, we struggle. So let me say that again. So because we think we have control over reality, we separate ourselves from reality, let's say, right? And we try to and then we have expectation of how we want things to be, and when reality unfolds how it's always going to be unfolding, and when it's not meeting our expectations, we struggle. And when we meet our expectation, we still struggle, because we have expectations, and having expectation is a struggle in itself, because it is distorting reality. So there's no control, and control is the ultimate illusion. What is the lesson from this? Well, there have been a few already, but I would say stop trying to get enlightened, man. Holy shit. And I'm talking to myself as well. Holy shit. Stop trying to get enlightened. You cannot try to get enlightened. It creates so much stress. It creates so much effort. It takes you further away from yourself, because you cannot achieve enlightenment through effort. Okay? So let's allow ourselves to feel our feelings and emotions. Let's allow ourselves to think what we're thinking, because most of the time we're also resisting thoughts, we're resisting emotions, we're resisting life. Like, let's allow all this for a second. Let's just relax into it, allow all this. Also, if it's difficult feelings, let it come up. Let yourself feel that, and then it will transform. A master can only allow. That's not my own quote, though. I stole it from someone. I have to say that. A master can only allow. So allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to relax into it. And a big one I realized is allow yourself to... I actually already said it. Allow yourself to feel. And allow yourself to be who you are completely like this. You don't have to get rid of who you are. You don't have to get rid of this current state to get somewhere else. It's rather you accept your current state completely, and that creates the freedom that you can transcend it. Okay, that sounds deep, but it's super simple. It's just you accept your current state completely, and that creates so much space, because you're not fighting life anymore, because your current state and who you are is basically this present moment, is basically who you are. So if you resist that, you struggle. So accept that completely. That was it for today. A lot of stuff has been said. I hope this makes a bit sense to you, because it's not been super scripted in like one storyline, but I feel like it has been quite a bit of value just from the top of my mind. So let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to this. And let me know if I was thinking lately, maybe I would want to write a book, a bit of a big thing, writing a book. I'm pretty young, but I feel like I could write a book. Let me know if you would want me to write a book, and if you would buy it, basically. See you guys later.